There was a rollover on course, and then there was safety crew driving backwards on race course on the bridge in the dust. So all I saw was headlights. I stepped out a little bit to avoid the safety crew. And,
nice of you.
Yeah, it's safe of you.
Yeah, and
Not so
then,
safe of them.
Yeah, and then there was water.
Yeah.
And it was an unpleasant experience.
Well, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dirt Drive Podcast. We're here again from PRI with Bailey, Cole, and Jack. Jack, what's your last name?
Mildwaters.
Sure.
Yeah, very British.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, you said it was Mildwaters?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
Okay, the accent kind of threw me off on that one.
Yeah, it was a little jumbled, but
we're like fresh off the plane too, so it's like really extra
Really strong.
thick at the moment.
oh, you're good. You're good.
So yeah, Bailey Cole is the son of Dave Cole and King of the Hammerlers Ultra 4 driver. You race just 46? Or 46 and 44?
So I've actually raced everything.
Okay.
At some point or another. And Ultra 4, King of the Hammers.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Jack, how'd you get involved with hammer stuff?
So Amy and I, we have a trophy truck back in Australia that we affectionately call the Trophy Ute because it is bodied out like a E3 Maloo.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a Commodore.
Yep.
So yeah, we were racing that for quite a while, and then one thing led to another. We ended up at the Baja 1000 a couple of years ago, and then from there we ended up at the ranch. So we met Bailey on an online simulator.
Oh, cool.
Actually, yeah, that was
Alright.
the first time like that we'd ever interacted, be it very small amount. And then we ended up actually like Amy and I came out and we worked for King of the Hammers like as staff.
Okay.
Just volunteering, I should say.
Yep.
And yeah, I worked my ass off. Dave pulled me aside and he's like, "Hey, do you want to become Bailey's crew chief?" And I was like, "Yep." I had no idea what a crew chief was. Like, what
So
they did,
you were just like working, like just cleaning up, helping around, doing things, fixing cars here and there.
I was 100% on his bomber at the time.
Okay.
So like that car was going out, like it'd leave at 10 o'clock in the morning and it'd come back at 8 at night and it would be
Wrecked.
Yeah, it'd be wrecked. So yeah, I'd fix everything I could, like getting parts in, like all that sort of thing, keeping that car running so that Dave could keep just plugging
Driving,
away
yeah.
at trails and setting course. So I did that for quite a while, and then for the 2 weeks, and then we just swapped over and started working on Bailey stuff. So
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
So it's been two peas in a pod ever since, I assume.
pretty much, and we're coming up on 2 years. Like this is our third Hammers together. So yeah.
Yep, it was funny. I was going through some changes up on my team as well, so trying to figure out what my crew chief was going to look like. And my dad was like, "Well, there's this random Australian that's still here." And he said he'll be your crew chief, and it was like, "Huh, we'll try it." Me and Jack got on a call, and it was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to like you. You don't know if you're going to like me, but we'll get through Hammers, and if we still don't hate each other after that, we'll go through the next one." And
Yep, here
we're
we
still
are.
here.
No,
I was
you
like-
guys sharing a hotel room and everything. I don't know about that.
Minutes before that, I was on Google looking at what a crew chief did.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's I run an off-road shop, and every day I'm like, how do I do this? What's HR department? What the hell's that? Like,
Yeah,
So, yeah,
100%. And like motorsport in Australia is still definitely emerging. Like, of course, we
Okay.
have our V8 supercars and like a lot of the road course stuff.
Right.
Speedway's huge, but off-road is definitely like still getting
Yeah.
there. And it's developing here too. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to watch it grow here and turn into what it's turning into. God, that is loud.
Told you.
That's all right.
Could have waited, but no. I had to start.
That's okay.
we'll just fly over the top of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right,
it's
yeah.
fine. Just hold your mics close.
I would have thought like Australia had a big offer because I mean they have a big like overland community.
Yeah, they own all the
100%.
overland products everywhere.
Yeah.
Look, there is a lot of competitors. There's a lot of passionate people, but it's just the commercialization of events, event structures, all that sort of thing. Like it still has a long way to go, and it is getting better and better every single year.
I feel like there's probably more rules and regulations over there about using the public land and racing and all that stuff.
Definitely.
They're not. The government's probably not as welcoming of it as they are here.
Yeah, and like there is struggles
Which
here
is still
too,
not
so-
very welcoming here.
Yeah. But no, and look, landowners are giving up their land for us to be able to race, and there's some events like I think Desert Race that's been running since like the 70s.
Yeah.
So, and we've been able to, like, lucky enough to be able to use that land, which is like pastoral land under pastoral leases, or TO land, like traditional owners.
Okay.
So yeah, very lucky for that side of the house. And new tracks keep coming up too, like finding different spots. One of personally my favorite races at the moment is Don River Dash, and that's in a dry riverbed in Bowen up in Queensland, and it is incredible. Like, and you can just hold the car flat. So in the trophy, like, you can literally stay on the inside of the corner and then just hold the loud pedal the whole way, and you just float from one side of the track to the other, and like you could go 8 wide if you wanted to. Like,
that's wild.
It is incredible. Awesome. Super fast. Not so much the endurance racing that like we're good at, but the sprint stuff is still.
So it's a bold statement.
Very, very.
It's funny because you said like a dry riverbed, and like all the dry riverbeds here on the East Coast are all rocks.
Yeah,
like the best rock crawling trails we have are dry creeks and dry river.
Yeah, this is all sand.
Yeah,
but it's like a shaly sand full of shells and that sort of thing, so it tears cars up.
I imagine that kills tires, kills
bearings,
joints,
everything. Fiberglass gets chopped out. Like we've got the
it's like sandblasting your car.
Everything in Australia is trying to kill you, even the race cars.
But no, it's perfect. Like we have a bare chromoly spider tracks rear housing, so like we don't have to do the WD-40 and Scotch Brite.
Just clean
just drive and like cleans it, comes out like a mirror finish.
Bailey, have you gotten out there to go racing with them at all?
So I've gone to one Fink with them, and that was awesome. Yeah. It was my first time racing a trophy truck like that, and what he's talking about with the pace is so different, because like over here you do the Baja 1000 and the trophy trucks are averaging I think 55 miles an hour,
right?
Which is, I mean, that's crazy fast through the desert.
For Baja, yeah.
And over there it was my first time ever driving a trophy truck, and I think we averaged 70 miles an hour.
God damn.
Yep.
And that's crazy.
Yeah. And then that was still, we were probably 15th place, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I mean, I think we came in and we were like, we were top 20, and then unfortunately we did a tail shaft on the way back that no spare, so that was the end of the line.
Yep.
Yeah, but like just the pace, because it's only 100 miles, you're just flat out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you get to stop too. So the whole event's like 227 kilometers. It's gonna say like 160 miles.
Sure.
But you get
yeah, I don't know.
you get to
Smile wave.
You race. So from Alice Springs to Fink, which is like 60 miles. Then you stop overnight, so you can repair the car.
Okay, so it's a stage race.
Yeah, kind of. But the next day starts on corrective time. Like the first 10 cars go off on their distances. So like if second place is right up the arse of first place, that's how they leave. That's the following day. Yeah, but that's only for the first 10.
So you finish like a snapshot.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so these guys, like, they're doing all sorts of things to the cars to fix them up overnight and then race back the following day with basically sometimes a fresh car. So.
That sounds fun.
That sounds a lot of fun.
I'm about to go to Australia.
It was gnarly.
We can't afford to go to Australia.
Yeah, you're right. We could barely make it to Indiana.
Yeah. How long have you guys been behind the seats of a race car?
I've been doing it about 10, 11 years now.
Okay, so you've been racing competitively for 10 years?
Yep. Started in the stock class in an 86 Toyota 4Runner. And I have worked my way up and then back in stock class now.
Yep. Yeah, stock class is where it's at. I feel like the 44 class is so competitive for 10 people. If you're not one of those 10, you're racing for fun.
Yeah.
Stock class, we were talking about it last night. Stock class, we could in theory show up with the XJ if we put a cage in it and a set of axles.
And in 6 weeks.
Yeah, in 6 weeks and
die.
But potentially if all the Broncos break, we could be competitive.
Yeah. You guys could be competitive even in that. But so the cool thing is like in 4400, and now you're starting to get it a little bit in 48 and 45, but like 4400 specifically, you are straight up racing the fellow competitors.
Yeah.
Like you're not racing the desert anymore.
Yeah, you're
which
side
is
by
what
side.
it used to be. Now it's Lauren's right next to me. I have to push harder.
Yeah.
Like you're not worried about the car anymore because the pace is so fast. You're just full going.
Well, I think too, like, I mean, if you're not cheating, you're not racing, right? So like the way the 4600 rules have been stretched, like just makes the car so capable. Like the fact that you can run portals on a 46 car, like, still blows my mind. Like that's not stock.
What do you mean?
I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to do it. It's just like it's so crazy to me that you're still like the way the rule's written. It's legal and it's awesome because it makes you guys
just a knuckle.
Yeah, with gear reduction and some other
little bit.
ground clearance, a little bit.
Really nice knuckle.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's fun for me as a fan. Like, I'm not a Ford guy. I'm sorry, but it is still fun to watch. Like, because you're seeing guys in XJs going, oh shit, I got to compete with the portal axle brand new Bronco with twin turbos
And
like
factory backing.
yeah, because you can. I'm assuming you guys are tuning those computers, right? No,
Nope, stock ECU.
Are you allowed to tune them? You just don't.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't need to.
In stock class, you can do whatever you want to the motor as long as it's a stock block.
Right.
So the Jeep guys and that kind of stuff are
Yeah, they're all running the strokers.
strokers and upgraded ECUs and everything.
I figured the Bronco guys were running some sort of, even if it was a plug and play, like
No, we run totally factory.
It's all
So-
about reliability.
sure,
So
yeah,
And honestly, so I know with like me, Brad, and Lauren, our cars, everybody says we absolutely push the limits and stuff.
sure.
But at the end of the day, it was a factory test bed for Ford.
Yeah,
So
that's
we still
and
are
that's super
running
cool.
the
Yeah.
stock 5-link in the rear. We beefed up the arms and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's still the 5-link in the rear. We're still running the stock motor, stock tune, stock transmission.
Yeah, and we always rag on the other manufacturers because
They don't
do that.
anything.
Yeah. I mean, Jeep is the go-to name in off-road.
Yeah.
And I think the last year they ran a car was when the Gladiator came out and Eric ran it.
Yep.
And I think he finished. Did he win with it?
He finished, I think,
He did.
third or fourth.
He was
that
competitive
year.
with it.
Yeah.
But like,
They were having issues with lockers that
yeah,
year.
I'm like,
Yeah.
they
That's right.
they
Well,
have the ability to do it. I think they just don't need, like, Bronco's so new.
Right.
They don't really, Jeep doesn't need the advertising, but I think it'd still be good
Jeep
to compete.
can't afford the advertising.
Fair. They can't afford a race program.
They can't afford. They can't afford to build their own cars right now.
Yeah.
But that's a different podcast.
Different podcast for a different time. But yeah, it'd be cool to see the other manufacturers get involved.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, the Toyotas are out there beating the shit out of the old first gens.
I think
and it's
it's
amazing.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Like,
It's got at some point they have to keep up. I mean, I think the industry the last 5 years has been a little
Wonky.
lean, and Ford was really the only one to put money into any of it.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, but if you look at it, though, especially in stock class right now, I think more people are following what's going on in stock class right now
100%.
than even
Oh,
what's
yeah.
going on in 44 half
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah,
Like-
it's because I feel like it's so much more of a competition.
Yeah,
And like I said, you can show up. We could show up and be competitive.
yeah.
And
also-
there's guys that do it. It's cars you see on the street. Oh shit! I didn't know that could do that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think-
And
I
you
think-
look at people like Kendall Glines, who's in a LJ, and he's out there fully banging doors with us and full on ripping. Like, it's still all right
Yeah.
there.
I think the two factors that I always see are the one Ultra 4 Hammers covers the stock stuff so well, like it makes it easy to watch, easy to follow. But then you also get like off-road racing as a whole is so driver skill based, where so much of it like you watch NASCAR spec cars, right? Everybody's got the same car, just comes down to how well you're driving it and how well it's set up. Where this is, you can be in a $5,000 beater or a $50,000 race car or a $100,000 race car, and it's equal. Like it's like
100%.
it's like the only racing that you have two completely different vehicles and they can perform just as well.
I mean, Corey Day at Nationals this year, he was really nice, and he let me drive part of the stint.
Yeah.
But his Jeep is just an XJ.
Yep.
Stock axles. I mean, I think it has the Brannick slugs in it and some lockers and that, like the basic.
Yeah.
Just build it yourself Jeep. And he went out there and put a whooping on everybody.
Yeah.
And he had a little steering issue right at the end and ended up finishing third. But I mean, he had a 10-mile lead over the second fastest car.
Right.
So other than your dad being Dave Cole, how did you fall into racing? It was just always around you, and you're like, let me get in driver's seat.
So, I mean, when it first started, wheeling with my dad forever,
Yeah.
obviously. And he wanted to push me a little bit into the motorsports. And I'm not going to lie, when I first started, I was like, it's the fun thing to do with my dad.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Wasn't
I
what you were
like,
interested in?
I'm going to be a race car driver. And I went out there the first time. And if I'm being completely honest, that first year, I could barely unload the race car off the trailer without stalling it with that
Yeah.
manual transmission. I was like, I should not be here. But got through it. It worked out. And then just continued to push. And as I got a little bit more in, I started to pick up the pace, and I started to beat the guys that, I've been looking up to this guy for my entire life.
Yeah.
And now I'm passing him, and now I'm faster, and seeing that and getting better and better. I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And kept pushing, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So how'd you get into racing, and how long have you been racing?
So we've been racing professionally since only just recently, but started racing in 2018, I should say.
Okay.
So that's when 2017 we just went out and we bought the trophy truck off a friend. And prior to that,
Was that the beginning of your racing altogether?
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck, let's go buy a trophy truck?
I've always been on quads, always been
Okay.
on bikes, and then like for the amount of money that we were about to spend anyway, we were like, it made sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've got a family friend that just sold his quad. He was racing quads. And I'm like, you spent how much on that tiny little ATV?
Right.
I'm like, you could have something the way Cage that does 100 miles an hour for the amount that you spend on that tiny bike.
Definitely. And like it was pretty much so I was in the army at the time as well, the Australian Army. So definitely wanted to, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I do anything for adrenaline. And yeah, I can't really 100% remember what it was, but we're just like, no, let's buy a trophy truck. So don't recommend anyone to do this, but we went and got an unsecured loan, bought it for 50 grand.
Hell yeah.
Went and bought it and then just built it up over the next 12 months.
So when you say trophy truck, like same trophy trucks that are run in Baja, like T1 trophy truck?
A little bit smaller,
Little bit
being
smaller,
Australian
okay.
built.
Yeah.
But so if we brought it over here, it'd run a 6100.
Okay.
Okay.
But if I was to bring it right this second, it's because of the motor size that's in it. So it's
Yeah.
got a 427.
Oh, wow.
So it'd
Okay.
go straight into trophy truck.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And it's the Australian tracks are just a little bit tighter than like Baja
Sure.
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
it's-
it's a little bit lighter weight of a truck, but it is a rocket
Yeah,
ship. And
yeah.
I mean, got 30 inches of travel in the rear and 20 up front. It's
Have you
trophy truck.
shipped it over here to race it?
We've been talking about it. We've been talking about it a lot. We have had a lot of problems with it, unfortunately.
Sure.
Like I'll be honest, it was an entry level car when we bought it. Like,
Yeah.
and that was what the original builders, Darren Thorne, wanted out of it. So it had like a Nissan Patrol rear axle in it. Like everything was like quite easy to get. A lot of the guys were running stock LS2s, or we have an L98 over in Australia, which is a 6-litre bottom end with the it's a 6-litre bottom end with the LS3 heads on it. So
Okay.
the rectangle port heads. Turbo 400. So everything was like basic, cheap to get a hold of. Land Cruiser front spindles with a chromoly slug driven through them. Like it was literally
Just
done
factory
Yeah.
parts, yeah.
Yeah.
Just stuff that they have laying around.
Exactly.
Just the beefy stuff.
Yeah. And then we sort of started to outdrive that like a lot. Like the rear axles we were breaking axles, we were smashing the LSD to pieces. All that metal was going through, destroying the ring gear and pinion. It was bad. So it was like costing us a lot of money. So that's where we started to throw like big boy parts at it. Like Spider Track's rear housing, like Gearworks 10-inch third member. We now have a 750 horsepower 427.
Yeah.
Is that stuff pretty available over there?
No, it all comes out of here.
You gotta ship it?
So like we have a great engine builder, Canaris Engines, who build us a Monster. So that's obviously Australian based. But yeah, for like the third member and everything like that.
The
that all
drivetrain
comes-
parts, yeah.
Yep, all comes over here. Unit bearings has been our savior because we were really good at losing wheels. Like that was one of our skills. So, one of our races, it was 2021 at the time. Amy and I lived in Alice Springs. We ran all the way there. We changed a Heim, like I was talking about how you can do whatever you want at the end. There's no park for May or anything. We changed a Heim because it was a little bit loose. Like we could have left it. Like,
Yeah.
it was fine. And that was it. Refueled the car, send it back out. We made it to about the 60 kilometer mark, counting down. So we only had 60 kilometers to go. And we lost our front left wheel. So it literally sheared right where the back bearing was. So it was like the normal spindle setup with 2 taper bearings. It broke that at
broke the
that back
spindle off.
bearing. Yep. We were able to fix it. So you're not supposed to have outside help, but for whatever reason, I sent my guys up the service road, which I never normally do. I normally send them around because it's a lot better on your gear.
Sure.
Because the service road is like worse than the track at some points. But yeah, we had enough parts to fix it, put it all back together. And then we made it 10 more kilometers and the other side broke in the exact same way. So, and that was, like I said, the Toyota spindles. So obviously their quality control is like on the money.
Yeah.
But
So are those the heavy duty axles in Australia? Like, is it Land Cruiser and Patrol?
No, definitely not. Guys are on 36 spline. They're on the 45 spline. Like,
So they're shipping the parts over there to make the strong cars.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I know GM had a presence in Australia, so I wasn't sure if you had 14 volts and Dana products or not.
Definitely not. Not the same way that we do over here, unfortunately.
Pick them out of a junkyard.
Like, yeah. Like everyone brings over geysers and Jeepcables, and like I think there's 2 Masons now. One of the all-wheel drive Masons that Brett Smoothie has. People have racer all-wheel drive trophy trucks. Like, they're bringing the big cars over. That's cool. That's really cool.
So as the driver, having a new crew chief, how important is the driver crew chief relationship?
Oh, super, super important. I mean,
talking the whole race.
Yeah, I mean, planning ahead of time, making sure. Jack obviously has experience racing, so he is the first crew chief I've had that is understood what I need to be comfortable and be able to push the car, and he just handles everything. And he's been absolutely amazing.
And I'm not scared to kick him out of the car either. Like, if you don't want to do it,
I know if I mess up, he's just hopping in and taking over.
But no, and we've done so much cool stuff. Like, one of the best experiences I think we had was Vegas to Reno this year.
Yeah, so, I've heard so much. I think everyone we've talked to
and the Mint are the 2 big like U.S. desert races.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer Vegas to Reno. I think
too.
Mint is super fun. I think if you were in one of the faster cars, we were racing it in the Bronco, and some of the chatter whoops, which is just the normal chatter whoop.
Yeah,
those are 2 feet deep and square edge, so it just
wrecks you.
Yeah, I mean,
the Bronco's an incredible car.
Yeah, Bronco's an incredible car, but I don't even think trophy trucks are good through that stuff.
I remember Eric Miller said the same thing about desert racing in Ultra 4 cars. He's like, it's crazy because the holes that the trophy trucks go either over or through are the size of the Ultra 4 car. And it's like, you forget how big those full-size trophy trucks are.
Yeah, huge.
It's crazy.
They're huge.
Yeah.
And there's
only just the way the suspension works.
Yeah.
It's
20 inches of travel is
a
complete different animal.
And that gets onto like the shock on diff arguments, leading arms, like all that sort of thing.
Leading
like,
arm, trailing arm.
Yeah.
And Eric even builds good desert cars for being the solid axle.
Right.
Just the way, the physics of it, it can't work as well.
It can't work that good in Johnson Valley and then also do 100 miles an hour in the desert. They're not the same thing. But it's I don't know. To me, that's what I love in off-road racing is the fact that desert racing, you can take the same car, but it is a different animal across 100%. The board. Like, I got exposed to trophy trucks living in Colorado and like growing up on the East Coast where everything just rusts. The whole idea of like a bare frame, the whole Scotch-Brite WD-40 thing you were talking about. Like, I remember WD-40ing those and Scotch-Briting those chassis every time they went out. And I'm like, why don't you just paint it? Like, this is a waste of time. They're like, well, you can't weld it as easy, and it's really not going to rust that bad. This only takes an hour.
And cracks.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be able to visualize cracks.
Them. Yeah. It's just like it's a whole nother world to me.
100%.
I love that.
It's really cool to see the people that come over from different sports. Like, I was there when Rob McCachran first saw the rocks, Robbie Gordon, Vaughn Gedden, the first time all those guys see the rocks, and you're like, we're going to go up that. And they're like,
no way.
What do you mean? That's just a cliff. We're not going up that. And it's like, we're just going to drive right up that.
Watch.
I'm going to say, too, I think the lines are getting blurred between Ultra 4 and desert racing. Like, the Armada cars, Jason Shearer's cars, like, they are really starting to get...
2 years ago, the first 60 miles, which is the same course between the King of the Hammers and the desert course, Jason Shearer was faster than every car except for Bryce Menzies. He was, I think, 30 seconds back from Bryce Menzies, but he was faster than the McMillans.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. And that's like like you said, the lines being blurred. It's that technology that's come out of it as far as shock technology, running bypasses and the trailing arm stuff. Like, that was not rock crawling stuff 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, it is. It's insane what's happened.
Just since I've been watching since 2017-ish, the transition between rock crawlers to true purpose-built Hammers cars has really shown since then. And you're like, God damn.
I mean, I think even 10 years ago, my Bronco would have been a top 10 4400 car.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And everyone's developing too, right? Like, so as more and more experience happens with different cars and that anti-squat, anti-dive, all the geometry, like that is all changing so rapidly, and people don't necessarily have to go, positive or negative anymore. They can find that middle ground.
Yeah, we were talking to someone about that yesterday in the drag world, how they're adopting the off-road suspension styles to the drag world to get the A&I squat to push the tires into the track rather than have the car dip down and lose all that traction.
Yeah.
They went from
super cool.
Went from
it's
a
really
ladder
cool.
bar to now they're building adjustable 4 links with long travel shocks, and it's like
100%. Like looking at a gasser versus like a top fuel, like it's just 40 years of development in that.
Yeah, and we're just bouncing through the desert.
Technology that's really evolved in the last 25 years is now affecting motorsports that have been there for.
Yeah,
I mean, they've been racing drag since the 40s.
Right.
Yep.
It was never about suspension geometry. It was just add more horsepower.
Add more horsepower and just weld the axle to the frame.
What's suspension?
Exactly.
So basically old desert cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, with the massive arched leaf spring. God,
Have you ever had a chance to mess around in 11 cars?
So I've gotten to drive one once, and you're gonna laugh, but it was surprisingly good.
don't say that.
I want to drive one so bad, dude.
Like,
So we have a Jed that you met, I guess, yesterday, and you just ran into again. He puts on an event called the 24 Hours of Appalachia, and my goal in that event is to do 24 hours through like the deep woods of West Virginia in a Class 11 car.
That would be
I think
cool.
it'd be so much. It'd be
This
brutal.
is the same guy who complained after we did that same 24-hour race in his 2016 JK with heated seats. So he wants to do it in a Class 11 car, and I'm
so
like, listen,
to
were you
bruise my body.
complaining about the ride or about
all
being
of
just
it,
everything.
all of
Oh,
it.
okay.
all of it. Yeah. No, I think it'd be so much fun.
He's like, I need new shocks, I need new springs, I need new everything, and I'm
So
like,
the first 3 hours is going to be good.
Yeah. It's how it went the first time.
we were joking before. That race we did, which was last March, was our first attempt at like trying to do YouTube. So I'm riding shotgun trying to like film
Vlog.
and I'm trying to do like an hourly check-in, and we have the first 6 hours I got an hourly check-in, like, oh yeah, we're on pace, we're doing this, and then like after 6 hours I was just fried, and I think I started driving, and then the next video, like
was
going
hour
through the
28.
phone, it was hour 28. We're at a gas station, my hair's crooked, it's dark, like I'm just like, I don't even know what fucking time it is, like we're in West Virginia somewhere, like I'll let you know when we're done.
Don't talk to me.
I started editing that video. I'm like, I have nothing. I have 6 minutes of video. Like,
Have you guys tried to get into the content creation side, or are you just racing cars?
Both at this point.
definitely.
I mean,
Okay, you have to do both, really.
Yeah.
So the way the industry's going, it's cool to go out there and win races, but at the end of the day, if
Nobody
you want
sees it.
true partnerships, and you need to be able to tell that story.
Yeah.
And that's something Jack has been really good with, and we've been working really hard.
I think you mean Amy.
Amy,
Yeah.
yes.
There's always one.
It's cool. It's cool how the industry is starting to lean more towards the individual creator again.
Yeah.
And being you guys being in the racing industry and having so much cool stuff you're doing, and like it's high speed stuff too. It's not boring like overlanding or like low speed rock crawling. So you can really get that good stuff, and I guess the partners want to see it too.
Yeah, no, it's super, super important. And I mean, it's cool to go out there and win a race, but if you can't tell that story afterwards, it makes it really tough.
Motorsport's a business, so you've got to run it like that, and that means like you've got to advertise, you've got to provide your product, you have to do everything exactly the same.
Have you? So is this actually your full time job? Is motorsports running cars, racing trucks?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's sweet.
That's
That's sweet. And you're doing the same thing.
I have a job too outside of it, but even that's in the motorsports industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you guys have like a crew besides you two that you're running? Like, do you have mechanics, or
buddies?
is it just you two?
So there's primarily 4 of us
Okay.
at the moment. So that's obviously
You
myself,
need
Bailey,
5?
Amy, and,
Or 6?
Jeremy Kempston, who's our second
go.
navigator.
That's right.
But yeah, who's another navigator and a really good spanner as well, or wrench, I should say. And then we bring in some incredible talent when it comes to events.
Okay.
And like guys that we love to work with.
Yeah.
For that pit support and
It's cool. It's cool looking at the pits and being like now that we know the sport a little more, we know a few guys that are racing is guys that have day jobs are working pit crew on these professional level teams out in the desert, out in on the East Coast where we go to the races.
Yeah.
I just forget Famous Redding. Like I was in the pits at Famous Redding. I'm like talking to the guys, talking to Big B Racing, and
those guys come out and are amazing when it comes to it.
Yeah, but all the pit crew is just, I mean, they even got full-time jobs. Everyone's coming out just for fun, just to turn wrenches, and you're like, this is a professional level race team, and it's just boys like me getting dirty, having a good time.
They're probably better mechanics.
Oh, they're definitely better mechanics.
Somebody's got to keep that car running.
So all your mechanics.
That's why I have a jack.
Yeah. All your spanners are all just regular boys that got day jobs coming out for fun.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, like obviously we still look after them and everything like that. But yeah,
get a big Airbnb and fill the fridge with beer.
pretty much.
Count me in.
You guys have been to the races with us, obviously.
Not yet, but
No, I'm friends.
there's a reason why we want to go.
Yeah.
And then some of these guys have so much experience as well, like especially like running pits, well beyond what I have, well beyond what even Bailey has. And it's incredible that we get to work with those people. Like Brian Hartman is a perfect example of that.
Brian Hartman used to do Dust Junkies, if you guys have heard of them.
Wow,
they were basically the hired pit crew through the first 10, 15 King of the Hammers.
Okay.
So like Randy Slauson, Shannon's used them. I think Jason's used them in the past. Like they were just, if you needed extra pit crew hands, you hired Dust Junkies.
The
cool.
Baja pits.
Okay.
Baja pits. Yeah.
So everyone, that pit crew is just working on every car.
Yeah, basically.
That's cool.
They've since disbanded, but Brian, who was running it, now helps us out some races, and a lot of really good people like that.
Definitely.
It makes your jobs easy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just focus on the car, focus on racing. Did you start turning wrenches, or was that just in the garage? Same thing. We broke the car, so now we got to get back and turn wrenches to fix it.
Yeah, so that is definitely not my biggest strength. Like I'm very honest about that. I can go through and I definitely turn wrenches with the guys, but it is not.
You can do a field fix on the car if it breaks.
Yeah, like I could change a unit bearing. I could obviously change oil, like do all that stuff. Yeah. But when it comes to now go in and pull the headers off the top of the motors.
Yeah. You're just a bad enough mechanic to get the job done.
Exactly.
Excellent.
We leave him to the pretty boy stuff though.
Yeah.
So go and talk to people and fan engagement.
Makes your
all that
job
sort of
easier.
Stuff. Yeah, 100%.
When did you start
Keep 'em out
turning
of the
wrenches?
All
Always.
my life. Yeah. Like I've grown up tinkering with Dad, like literally my entire life. My first car was a Land Rover Series 3. That was like 1982, I think, and it had a 215 Hemi in it, so the straight six.
Yep.
And we built that car up, and then just everything. I can't leave anything alone. So
It's the same way.
Yeah, we're the same way.
I
just touch everything.
Yeah, my wife gives me shit. I bought a project Jeep so I could rebuild it, sell it to afford parts for my other project. And she's like, why don't you just finish that project? I was like, well, I need more money and this will give me more money. She's like, but you're going to have to spend money. I was like, yeah, but it's
gonna work
car
out.
guy math. Don't worry about it. Like, I bought a project to sell so I can make money for my other project.
You got girl math, I got car guy math.
Definitely. And like I don't have a trade. Like I'm not like I have that mechanical background. I've worked in workshops like when COVID hit. That's where I went to, and my bosses, like, they were my friends and at the start, and they didn't care. They knew what I did. Like they knew the level of work that I'd done.
It's funny. So like I went to trade school. Like I consider myself a mechanic. Like I run a shop, and it's guys like you. I hear it all the time that are like, "Oh, I'm not a professional mechanic." I'm like, no, like like there's a line between professional and trained, but they're like. If you're wrenching on stuff all day and you're as good as you are, I don't care if you've been trained or worked in a dealership. Like that doesn't matter. Like you're a tech. Like I was watching Mike Finnegan from Roadkill makes a comment. He's like, I'm not a professional fabricator, as he lays down like a perfect TIG weld. And I'm like, dude, like I am professional. I can't weld like that. Just because you're in your basement doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing.
He's tuning clutches in his drag. Like, you're not a professional mechanic.
Him and Tony are driving, tuning blasphemy
8 second passes.
I'm like, the level of some of his boats.
Yeah.
Like just insanity.
Yeah. And he's building most of it. It's like, you know what you're doing.
Under his house.
I don't care. You're a professional. You know what you're doing. So.
Yeah, I'm sure it feels the same thing. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but then you're working on it.
Yeah, a lot of the time. And like, the Bronco is definitely testing, and like I'm lucky that I had the background that I do. Like, and it wasn't like off-road specific. It wasn't production car specific. Like I've worked on show cars.
Sure.
I worked on historic cars. Like I really don't mind, but it gave me that like really diverse range of knowledge.
Yep.
As well as the contacts when I don't get in over my head very often now.
Yeah.
Or I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But I've got a lot of people that I can call upon as well.
You've got smarter friends.
Yeah. Help me figure it out.
Smarter friends are always important. That's my smarter friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have smarter friends. Not as many as I used to.
Yeah.
But
How was the transition into the Bronco when you first got it? Was that a big learning curve?
So not as big as you'd think. Like it is, I mean, Jack can attest. So Jack's raced it now with me as well. It is a weird car to drive because you sit so tall in it.
Yeah.
Because they, especially those cars with the portals, being on 35s, you sit really high in the suspension.
Sure.
But there's also zero body roll, which is very odd.
It's tuned so tightly.
Yeah. So like you go into a corner and like the first time I kind of dipped it in, I was like, well, let's take it easy. Yeah. And like it was perfect. And I was like, okay, that's odd. Let me go harder.
Do you run a sway bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
whose shocks do you run?
Foxes.
Fox, okay.
Yep. Fox shocks, Spider Track sway bar. Yeah, really solid. And yeah, it is surprisingly good. And even in the whoops, like you come in and you're like, I'm going way faster than I should be in this. And it
soaks it up.
Works.
Yeah.
Like in ways that doesn't really make sense.
I'm a firm believer in like everyone needs to drive the vehicle that they're in. So it's 100%. Like if you stepped into a Bronco from your XJ, you'd be like, oh, my XJ does this. So like you have to set that expectation.
Yep.
So you've obviously going to have that like some level of expectation, but the Bronco is this weird one where it is literally the difference between a stock Jeep and a trophy truck.
Yeah.
It finds itself like somewhere in there. So you really need to learn how to drive it.
I was also just thinking that you guys kind of have a cool dynamic of if you started 10 years ago, you're a rock guy. You're a rock, 100%. And you're a silty sand fast boy.
Rock donkey, desert princess.
There you go. I like that. That's a t-shirt right there. It's a t-shirt for your team.
Rock donkey is a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. That's a really good dynamic that we don't get as much on the East Coast because we're all your rock donkeys and we're wet rock donkeys.
Wet rock donkeys.
That sounds
Soggy
gross.
rock donkeys.
It sounds disgusting. Soggy rock donkey.
Yeah.
That is a very good t-shirt.
It sounds like a sandwich, actually.
Not one you'd want to eat, though.
I know, that's the fun part.
You guys want to do a collaboration t-shirt and we'll sell them?
Yeah.
There you go.
good.
We'll come up with like a shot as well because it sounds like a shot. You know?
Oh,
Soggy rock donkey.
The soggy donkey.
Yeah.
Count me out.
It's like tequila with some dirt in the bottom of it.
I forgot what I was going to ask.
Soggy donkeys. That's where we're at.
People are sitting over here like, what the hell are they talking about?
I always forget when I have headphones on that people can hear what we're saying.
Oh no,
like,
we're those guys now.
Oh yeah. The Broncos are the two doors, right? The two.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I get a lot of the four doors at the shop, and like it's funny because the stock Broncos have that same like they're just flat.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, and I can't figure out what the difference is, but
Yeah. And I've also been super lucky. And like I said, I got to start in a 4Runner and work my way up through the classes. So I've raced modified, I've raced Legends in a couple different cars and 4400 in a couple different cars, UTV. So I've just gotten to experience a lot of different types and a lot of different terrain. So when it comes to adjusting to the Bronco like that, it was like, oh, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I was able to pretty quickly get up to speed.
Do you think you'll get to a point where you're racing multiple disciplines over like a weekend? Because those guys are ridiculous.
No, definitely yes.
all right.
So the last couple years at Hammers, I race on average 3 to 4 races.
Oh.
God damn.
Yeah.
And this year I think we're going hard.
This
so
year
I'm
we're
starting
trying-
with King of the Motos.
Yeah.
Oh, you're racing motos?
Yeah.
You're a lunatic.
Yeah.
Everyone says that, but I don't get it because I have the best teacher in the world, Justin Limeweber.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really do get that. I don't know, step ahead, I guess, and like coming from desert racing, like my bike's long, and 20 degrees of rake extra on the forks, steg pegs, like extended seat, extended bars, and then going to these tiny little nimble two strokes.
4 wheels and a roll cage sounds great to me.
Yeah. Do you still, other than Hammers, do you still race like enduro competitively?
This is my first bike event ever.
Wow.
Yeah,
you're
first two-wheel
definitely
event ever.
limited.
Jump in it with 2 feet.
Yeah,
Jeez
100%.
Louise.
And like my goal right now, so I'm in B class. So if I make day 2 and I finish the first lap, I'll
Yeah.
be stoked.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's my goal, and I know that no
So
one's going to let me stop.
you know you're not going to be racing competitively. You're just racing to go out there and race. But you might be
100%.
competitive. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Again, you're not. For me personally, I'm going to be battling the track. I'm not going to
Yeah.
be battling the people around me. Like it's just me and the bike in the desert. That's
Yeah.
it.
That seems to be how Johnson Valley works the best. Is if you look at the guy next to you, think you got to beat him, you're going to break in faster.
100%. And yeah, she's going to bite you. Like the desert will bite you.
What do you what do you like best? 46, 44, desert.
So
He's wearing his Jag shirts. I think I know.
yeah, I think I enjoy 4400 the most, just
Okay.
because I like that I'm gonna race the guy next to me,
Yeah.
and we're gonna push, and let's see who's actually faster.
Yep.
Are you driving a bomber?
I have driven them.
Okay.
Yep, they're good.
What are you
They're
driving
really-
this year?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. We have a couple options right now. So we're trying to figure that out right now. We're down to a couple that should be good.
So we'll see. We'll hear Miles and Ian talking about it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see very soon.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we're also doing the desert race. We're gonna do UTV. We're gonna
okay.
do stock class, and then
Which is
figuring
all
out
it's all
44.
pre-running for 44 at that point. Is you're just I mean that's
laps.
really what it
Literally.
is. It's practice.
Yeah.
That's how it's been used by other drivers. Is just practice laps for 44 is to make sure you can win on Saturday and then
Yep, pretty much.
I mean, the desert challenge this year definitely wasn't any sort of pre-running.
What do you mean?
But-
I learned exactly
First
where to
finisher.
break the car.
Yeah, first finisher.
Yeah.
learn where to break the car. Yep, that's it.
I think we.
So
well,
there
okay.
was a rock literally a quarter mile into the race, and you couldn't see it. It was blind
Oh.
in one of the.
Thought you forgot
first-
what race you were running. You're like, oh, I got to go over that rock.
No, it was in the desert, and it was through a
whoop.
section that was totally fine every other year before, and just coming up over a blind hill, and it was a rock probably about the size of one of these chairs, like just sticking
big
out.
enough.
Yeah, and it completely separated our rack.
It
and
destroyed everything in the front end.
It broke everything.
In the Bronco?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
the Bronco, about 50 UTVs.
Yeah.
That rock probably did like $500,000 worth of damage.
Damn.
Like
Yeah.
throughout.
Like,
No joke.
Have
legitimately.
that removed.
Yeah.
Oh, it got smashed apart.
Oh,
like
I
it
believe
literally
it.
got broken. So
And
It was
this is,
removed.
Yeah.
like hard rock. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
amount of people that hit it, like it was bad. It's
yeah.
sadly it's what ended Waylon's race that early
Oh,
on.
okay. Yeah.
I was gonna say that sucked because like we saw him leave. I'm like, yeah, go Waylon, and then it's him running past the pit like 15 minutes later, and you're like,
Yeah.
Where's he going? Crash.
you're meant to be racing, man.
Yeah.
But it took out at least 20 cars that week. Like it was a bad rock. It was not a friendly rock.
Yeah.
How much of the of the coverage do you race when you're like being the pit crew and like planning everything? Are you watching the live stream and figuring everything out, or is it all radio comms?
Definitely a bit of both, and like we want to fight for information any way we can. Starlink has just been
Yeah.
Yeah.
incredible in like changing the game on crew understanding where you are, even just like simple apps like the Find My Phone,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, we now base all of our comms off Starlink. So like it's no longer radios, like that's all
interesting.
backup. Like we're all still on that on the
Yeah,
channels.
we
and
both
everything
have
like that.
Starlink to run our houses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right? And you can bolt one to the roof of a race car. You can run certain apps, still through push to talk, set up through like PCI, set us up so our phones connect directly to
Yeah.
our helmets. And then like Vegas
So
to Reno.
even these radio companies are using Starlink, starting to use Starlink for
100%,
communications.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yeah. It was,
So Vegas to Reno, we're cruising through the desert, and I get a call from him. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, going good. We're just cruising through the desert. Everything's good. And I'm like, cool. And then, we're cruising through.
What do you guys want
no,
for
I was
dinner?
the shock tuning.
Oh, yeah.
We were out shock tuning, and Charlie from PSS called me, and I just answered the phone like normal. And
what's
like,
going on, man?
Hey man, and like he can obviously hear it because like you're doing these ones. But it's like, hey man, can I call you back? Like we're just in the race car right now. And we're like, yeah, no worries.
so do you just find it's just clearer communication than radio?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And more consistent.
Good old Wi-Fi
'Cause-
calling, man.
Yeah.
So wild.
Something as simple as like Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
And like we were doing group calls that could be like pit captains. So like you can reach out and just go straight to both pit captains. And we're going to start trialing another app, which is actually a push to talk radio.
Yeah.
So like you can buy like a Bluetooth.
Yeah, we started using those at work.
Yep.
Yes.
Zello?
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, I think we use that at work.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so cool.
revolutionized it. So like, to finish answering your question, like we don't really have to worry about like live stream and that sort of thing because we've got so much data anyway in the palm of our hand.
And then are you doing live streaming from the car too? So you got video footage of where you're at with live like data analytics plugged into the OBD2?
Not that
Not
far.
that yet. Okay, I don't know.
But
That would be cool though. Like, and I'm sure some teams do it.
Oh, they have to. Yeah. A lot live shock temperatures and RPMs.
That's some F1
Definitely.
shit, though.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, speaking of Finnegan, that's what Finnegan,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he has all that analytics on a,
Yeah, but he's going a quarter mile.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the
Then
point
he
I was going to
downloads
bring
and
up.
looks
He's at 100 miles from his pit.
oh,
correct, but
no,
the
so
technology
we-
has to be there.
we look at all that data. So like at the end of the race, me and Jack go through what's our biggest impacts, what throttle percentage, what brake percentage. We go through all of that data.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah, the
live.
problem is
It's
it could
just
be
not
like an
live.
hour worth of data or if not longer. So as opposed to I don't know, 9 seconds, 8 seconds.
crazy.
Yeah, no, it takes us a while to go through all that data.
Yeah.
And we're cruising through and he's like, why is there 10 G's of impact? What'd you do there?
Literally. And then we're able to send that back to Ford too, so they can do their like test development and they're way smarter with it. Dan's way smarter with it than I am, so he's able to find things that we don't too.
That's got to be a fun like partnership relationship to have, is being able to like, I don't know why it's misfiring, and just calling up Ford and being like, hey, it's doing something funny, and then 30 seconds later he's like, oh yeah, just do this. Or,
At the end of the day, like it's still that sort of diagnostic dice stuff.
Yeah.
Like so he can show cause, but we have to find effect. Like
Yeah.
he can find effect. We have to show
Right.
cause, like that sort of
right,
thing.
but you can at least know where you're looking.
Exactly. But it can be a red herring too. Like,
Also,
sure, from your background, like you look at OBD2 codes and you're like, oh, sweet. No, that'll be simple. I'll find that.
Yep.
And then it's something completely different. Or you've stripped the car and it was just a fuse. Like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I just dealt with it with a Jeep. Came in for a misfire, was actively misfiring. I'm like, it's a 3.6. It's coils and plugs, like 99% of the time it is. And put coils and plugs in it, test drive it, runs great, no issue. Customer picks it up, comes back like 2 days later. He's like, check engine light came back on. Sure enough, misfire cylinder 2, go through the whole thing, crank position sensor, start, kind of trying to chase it. And then just never, like, the 3.6 has a cam issue where like the lifters get stuck and it wipes the cam out. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's the cam. Pull the valve covers. Sure enough, there's metal in it. I'm like, all right, cool. He approves the $3,000 in camshafts. We rebuild the head, put it all back together. Works great for a week. Starts misfiring again. Same cylinder. I'm like, what the Go through the whole thing. Compression's low, but it doesn't leak down on the leak down tester. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. And he's like, I'm like, we're looking at another, like, I got to start tearing the heads off, all this. He goes, put it back together, like, clear the code. I'm going to take it to CarMax. He just he just traded the Jeep in. So I'm just like, and it was like 2 weeks that we spent just back and forth. And it's just, I can only imagine on a race car, like, it's just,
When it comes to the data analytics, how does that go with, do you stay in country until you go through everything? Or are you just like on different time zones trying to catch up over FaceTime and go through this stuff?
A bit of everything. So, we have set times that we can be here and not. So we have to work in accordance with that to make sure we're not doing the wrong thing.
And make sure Donnie doesn't kick you out.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah, so, and with that, like, we still get through a lot and make sure that the Bronco, like, right now we call it, like, show prepped. So the Trophy Ute is back in Australia, show prepped. It wouldn't make it 5 miles down on the racetrack. Same with the Bronco. Like, it's show prepped. To see
you guys got, like, what, 6 weeks? You better get rolling here.
Yeah, I've talked to a bunch of people
plenty of
trying to get people on the pod. They're like, I can't make it out to PRI because we're getting ready for hammers.
Yeah. No, that's our plan. So I picked him up from the airport. He flew in to Indianapolis.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
So just add another,
that's why I'm still
5
like,
hours.
the runny nose and stuff because I'm very jet lagged
Yeah.
still. But
that's got to be, what, 18 hours in a plane?
Oh,
it was worse because it was a 16-hour flight over and then another 4 hours from LA to
Flew into LAX.
Yeah.
Indianapolis. So yeah, it was gnarly. But
You're a saint for putting up with that and flying everywhere and going over. My wife would not do that. She'd be like, "Have fun in your trip. I'll see you in 4 weeks."
Amy's the enabler on a lot of things.
This is all Amy's fault.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah. I know. She's. I don't know if we mentioned it before, but yeah, she navigates for Bailey in a lot of the desert races.
Oh, yeah,
it's definitely her fault.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
your fault then.
Yeah, it's always the navigator's fault. So yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
So you're co-dogging in the car the whole time.
Yeah, just the desert stuff though. I don't run winchline or anything. We got Jeremy as the rock donkey, but yeah, I love the desert. Doing the trophy truck stuff, and I got to get in a spec truck as well. So
Nice.
yeah,
How did you get into it?
I did adrenaline stuff as well back in Australia. So like surf life saving, different bits and pieces, and just love traveling and putting yourself through different challenges. So
Hell yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And you get some co-drivers that are a little bit more of that conservative, like, no, save the car, we'll get there. And then you get the co-drivers that are like, why are you going so slow? And Amy's definitely more of the
That's fantastic.
drive the car.
yeah, the team mascot we have, I'm the thorny devil that sits on the shoulder.
Do you guys
Somebody's got to do
do you
it.
guys have a team name? Like a cool team name, the Rock Donkeys,
It might be now.
the Soggy Rock Donkeys.
No, this has been a big one for like discussion stuff. Like
Just double mic it.
I can.
I'm super good on that one.
No, I was going to say something with the way Amy was talking, but that's cool. We did come up with Hyperfocus Motorsports as like a joint team name, but we sort of have just kept it separate
Yeah.
because we don't want to. We really have to think about our branding. We don't want to impede on Bailey's branding, and we want to make sure that we leverage like both of our names as best we
Yeah.
can. So yeah, we do have a name that we're still not rock solid on, but it's kind of funny and gets good reactions.
Yeah, branding
but-
is a huge,
Yeah. But
huge part of it.
all of us are all very ADHD and
Yeah.
Our
So,
people.
hyper focus
yeah.
was very fitting for us.
Yeah.
But sorry, I know I'm going back a little bit,
You're
but
good.
like Amy did the courses with Erica Sachs or Erica Seaman, I should say.
Okay.
So Waypoint Lead Nav, and that was a few years ago now. And then with Rhiannon Gelsomino. So she's Travis Pastrana's co-driver for the ARA.
Oh, so you have a problem.
She has a massive problem. Like the first time we got overtaken by another trophy truck. It was a dude named Damien Nickel, one of our good friends now. And I let him pass and then kept up with him in the tight stuff. And then he just walked away as soon as we had a big, long, straight whoop run. And at the time, we just had a stock L98. And Amy's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you going so slow? And I was like, there's
doesn't go fast
nothing
enough.
left. Like, my foot is already through the firewall. Like, there is nothing left. And then another one, the Bronco is really clever in the way that it pulls power when temperatures start to get crazy. And like for part of my stint at Vegas to Reno, like I would have hated to have seen the temperature. It would have been at least like 111.
That's
What's
and
that?
like
What's that? In,
No,
I was gonna say,
Fahrenheit,
just
111
units.
Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's low. 111?
Sorry.
Outside temperature.
Outside temperature.
Ambient
Oh,
Sorry,
I'm like,
yeah.
engine temp. That's not even
No,
warmed up yet.
sorry.
I was gonna ask you what that was in Maple Leafs, but then you're Australian. I don't know what to call it.
Freedom units.
Yeah, so it's about
freedom units.
115 ambient temperature. So like everything is running hot, and we're like stuck behind cars, and it keeps pulling power. And same thing, Amy would be like, "Why are you going so slow?" And I was like,
I'm not.
I can't
"There
control
is
it."
nothing."
Call Ford. It's not me.
But no,
Yeah.
and it's glad because that again, it's all that reliability stuff.
Do you guys find that being a big problem in the 46 car? Like the heat,
Temperatures?
the computers, the overrides, and all the safety?
So it's
Self-
not really a problem, but it's something you have to take
plan
account.
for, yeah.
So like during short course events where you're pushing 112%, like a Bronco is never meant to be thrown around Crandon for half an hour.
Right.
Like Pro 4s aren't meant to be thrown around Crandon for half an hour.
Yeah.
So like that's just not meant for that. So you have to make that decision of, okay, I'm going to take
Where
it a
do you
little
push?
easier
Yeah,
early in the
yeah.
beginning so I have more car at the end of the race.
Yeah.
And by the end of Crandon, I mean, you look at it and
There's no car
everybody's-
left, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's down a cylinder, steering's messed up, cars are crab walking.
My
but-
first Crandon was insane. So we roll up into the hot pits in our chase truck, and the UTVs were coming off the track. and they were heading the opposite direction as like we were going down the hot pit, and it was like a battle where your troops have just been decimated. Like they're missing wheels, they're missing arms, like cages are caved in, like shit is hanging off everywhere. And like again, like I was pretty new to it. I was like, what is happening?
And they're still
I was
running.
like,
And they're still running at pace.
Yeah, like drivers, like they can't see. Like they've just got like little wipe holes.
Yeah.
They've run out of tear offs within the first like mile.
I guess we're going to Crandon this year too.
Oh man, Crandon's incredible. But yeah, for me, the experience of that and being like, wow, what have we done? This car is just gonna like we might as well just load it on the trailer
fix this.
and then go straight to the scrap heap, like which
Yeah.
didn't of course happen. But yeah, no, it was eye opening for how gnarly short course could be on cars.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, it's the sprint aspect versus the endurance.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you have to figure out how much abuse you have to put into that car before you're actually going to pull it, or before you can get back to main pit and fix something.
Yeah, exactly.
I was with George Schooley at Famous Reading when they raced there 2 years ago, and he lost a tire, and he was motherfucker. We were sitting there in the pit. We're like, change the tire, put a tire on. It was him and Cameron in the car, and he made it back to the pit. By the time we changed the tire, he had ripped brake lines off. He had broken the car too bad. But if it would have worked out, then he would have been like, I don't know if he would be leading.
He lost a tire and then entered the Joker lap with the flat because they didn't know they had the flat, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, come on, man. But then like you just don't know. You got to make that judgment call. And that's a hard call to make.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's the same sort of thing, right? When you do pit, like it's not your race done, but you're probably not going to win.
Yeah.
Especially on like a short course or something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Reading, that was a little bit kind of an in between. Like
Yeah.
it was
a good
like
long
2-3
lap.
mile lap, right? Or was it
It was
longer?
like it was like
long.
a 45 minute to an hour lap. It was a
Okay.
good lap.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it was, but it was a good race.
Yep.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
We're not that professional.
Professional enough. Hey, come on, Tom.
professional. No, I'm just saying we don't.
Look, it says media on it.
Yeah, I still don't know why.
Pro members.
There you go.
Pro members,
member.
Yeah, it's through the shop.
Yeah, it's the shop side. Yeah, I mean the when we talked with Eric and Nate Stowers, and they went through like their entire list of like good wrecks. Mm-hmm. You guys have any good wrecks yet?
Me personally, I haven't. I
that's
definitely rolled the car.
Sure.
I think everyone with long travel suspension is going to roll it. It's not a
Yeah,
question of
yeah.
if, it's when.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's just all a part of that learning curve from
Yeah.
whatever discipline or whatever you raced beforehand, and then coming.
I see the
into
wheels
off-road.
turning.
I try really hard to not wad stuff up.
I mean, everybody does.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen eventually.
I probably two of my good ones is at Jay, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Have you guys ever been to that
No.
property? So there's a kind of rock bouncer section, and we were qualifying, and you had to drop down the rock bouncer hill.
Oh,
And it
fun.
was grass up on top, and it had just rained that morning. So I was accelerating up on top, got on the brakes, and the car didn't really slow down.
Yeah, locked up. And
Yeah. I clipped a tree at the top, and I rolled, I think it was 2.5 times.
What was that in?
4,400 car.
Okay.
Yeah. But flipped it back over, and we kept on
Kept going,
driving.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then
I mean,
the SSBC.
yeah. That's definitely the worst one, but it wasn't. Again, it wasn't a crash.
Yeah.
I found a lake.
Oh, nice.
Found a lake?
Found a lake.
Was it on the GPS?
Previously undiscovered.
No, Fish Finder. I was taking it back to its home.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so it was actually at Crandon.
Okay.
And we were racing at night that year, and that year they had us going across a very narrow bridge in the dark without any lights or anything on it.
Wild.
And
Missed the
somebody, me, in the driver's meeting might have mentioned, hey guys, that's kind of sketchy. Maybe like we do something else. And I got told to just drive the race course and don't worry about it.
Be like, Optimus is a sponsor.
I
We
was
can
like,
get light bars.
Okay.
So let's set up some lights on this thing.
Again, like a lot of the time, if you find yourself behind the first place, like the mud just cakes all
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
lights, so you're not
Yeah,
necessarily
They got
going to
little
have.
mini wipers.
Well, I was saying because sometimes I guess the media crews use light bars and
Right,
batteries to
right.
light the course. So that would have been a good spot to maybe light the course,
Yeah.
opposed to.
But
getting your light bars caked and not seeing anything.
So the real issue came is right before that there was a rollover on course, and then there was safety crew driving backwards on race course on the bridge in the dust. So all I saw was headlights. I stepped out a little bit to avoid the safety crew. And,
Nice of you.
Yeah, it's safe of you.
Yeah, and
Not so
then,
safe of them.
Yeah, and then there was water.
Yeah.
And it was an unpleasant experience.
4,400 boat racing.
Yeah. It was 20 degrees outside
in
right
Wisconsin?
there. So
Yeah, that's
in Wisconsin,
good times.
so
Yeah.
nice and cold.
Yeah.
September. Hit the water and I was like, this sucks. You know, I'm gonna be like waist deep. This is gonna be really unpleasant. And then the water rushed in, and then I was underwater.
Oh,
and I was
shit.
like, okay, well, you know, it's obviously
The
just
bottom's here somewhere.
it's just a splash, and water's gonna come down. Water didn't go down. I was about 5 feet underwater.
Damn. So you were rushing
In a
to get
race
your
car.
belts off and
Yeah, and figuring all that. I mean, it's night. Can't see anything in the car. Getting belts off and getting out of the
do you
race car.
do you practice taking belts off with like blindfolded or stuff?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, you
I
got
was,
to.
I was really lucky. My crew chief,
At the time.
my co-driver back in the time was military, and he had to do that helicopter
Yep.
thing where they flip
Yeah.
the helicopter over, and he had to get out of the helicopter. And his boots actually got stuck in that drill, and he didn't get out of the helicopter in time. But so him going through that, he was
Yeah.
like, "I don't care. You're practicing this
Yeah.
100
Yeah.
times."
Oh, yeah.
And he literally used to drill me and getting in and out of the car blindfolded.
Yeah.
I'm glad that incident, that was before my time, but the boys like Chad Britton, they worked their asses off and turned that car around in like
Yeah.
2 weeks, right?
No, we raced the next day.
Oh, there
Damn.
you go.
Yeah.
Pull
So-
the plugs, crank
There
her
you go.
over.
Better
Yeah.
than me.
So it's fun.
After the engine, like Bailey hit the kill switch at 7,000 RPM, like as it went over. before
Oh, so
it
you
went
had the wherewithal to kill it so it didn't hydro lock.
Yeah, it's funny. We had in-car video, and somebody commented because I posted it, and somebody's like, "You really killed the kill switch before you hit the water?" And I was like, "No, I wasn't thinking about that. What are you talking about?" And
Turns out-
Sure enough in the video,
like,
yep.
I'm holding the steering wheel. I see the water coming, and I hit the kill switch.
That's genius.
Yeah,
That's
and-
just
But again, at
instinct.
7
That's
grand,
right.
so
I
it
was
still
thinking-
did damage.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's you don't need oil pressure when the motor's spinning. It's,
Yeah.
There's residual. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's better than hydro locking and cracking stuff.
Yeah, or
Exactly.
welding it together.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the issue was the impact on the water was so hard, it stopped the wheels,
Yeah.
and it actually sheared 2 of the torque converter bolts.
Damn.
That's wild.
So the following day, we were cruising. We finally get it started.
Hey, what's that
like
noise?
10 minutes before the race, and a torque converter bolt drops out of the bottom of the car. And the whole team looked at it. They'd been working on the car for like 15 hours straight.
Didn't
at
even
that
consider
point.
it.
Well, we were fixing everything
Everything
else.
else, yeah.
Yeah. And they looked at it, looked up at me, and were like, "Go out on racetrack."
Weight reduction.
Yeah. And we were
Ounces
sitting
matter.
like
2 ounces. Yeah.
3rd overall on the race. And
That's pretty good.
Yeah, just passed for a podium spot, and suddenly the car went to 12,000 RPM because the torque converter bolts all backed off all very suddenly.
Nice.
Wild.
Yeah. It was a sporty weekend.
Yeah.
Nice. We got to get out to some of these races.
Yeah.
We really do.
You guys wreck wheel at all? Like you get out when you're not racing, or is racing just taking up all the time?
So I can only really afford a race car. It's where my priority is
Sure.
right now.
Yeah.
I would love a trail wheeler because
I hear you.
it's what I grew up doing.
Yeah.
It's really fun, but just not in the cards for me right now. And
Same thing. We're just so busy. So like,
So busy racing. That
yeah.
seems to be the trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it really takes up all your life.
Especially when it's over multiple countries, like multiple
Sure.
vehicles,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it is
Yeah,
huge.
absolutely.
And like, what a problem to have, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. I gotta.
We have too many race
yeah.
cars.
Got to go spend a couple months over in California prepping for King of the Hammers, but
Yeah.
Right.
But you say that do people even understand what King of the Hammers is? Or you're just going to California to go racing?
We were just talking about this. So like, people within industry, like they know what King of the Hammers is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it is. It's huge over there too. And then
It's funny how like we told all our family and friends that hey, we're going to Indianapolis to do some podcasts, do some interviews. Like, oh, anybody I know? Like, not that you know, but like huge names in the industry.
right.
And I guess it's the same thing. It's like, I'm like, hey, I tell my boss, I'm like, hey, I'm leaving early today when it's Hammers week. I'm like, I'm gonna go home and watch King of the Hammers. It's racing. He's a NASCAR, old school NASCAR guy. If it's not on pavement, it's not NASCAR, IndyCar. He's got no idea what it is.
Yeah.
And like, he's like, why do you even care? Like, I've never heard of that. Okay, great. But yeah, it's such a. I told him, Smoke, NASCAR driver.
Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart, yeah. He also goes by Smoke. I told him Tony Stewart was here and doing a bunch of panels, and he was like, "If I give you a picture, will you get me an autograph?" I'm like, "Oh God, you're one of those guys." But yeah, that's the type of thing it is, and it's like it's so niche that nobody knows what it is, and I imagine it's even worse over there because it's in a whole different country.
Yeah, definitely. But like everyone knows what the Baja 1000 is.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of Australians like do come over and they just do the 1000. I understand like it's time and effort and that sort of thing, but doing one of the smaller ones, of course, prep you a lot better going into that. But no, like I said before, like the industry is growing, it is starting to get big, and like King of the Hammers is definitely a name and like people put on the bucket list, and like not even just for the racing itself, but like literally creating a town.
Yeah,
like 250,000 people.
Yeah, the event itself is nuts.
Unbelievable,
right? Like truly that cross between like Coachella and Mad Max. Like,
it's funny. We get Burning Man and Mad Max and what was the other one that
Burning Man? Sorry, was what I meant.
Yeah. Well, I can't. I'm blanking
think,
out.
yeah.
My brain's shutting off.
We got one more today, and I'm like, oh, my brain's slowing down.
I have to go find some coffee again.
Yeah, hell yeah. Good coffee, because this coffee is not good.
Rough.
Show team. Love the show. We got some things to work on.
Got to get him with Jeff.
Yeah.
Have you brought a car over from Australia? Like, what's that? Do you have any idea what that would even look like to ship something over here to race?
One of our sponsors that we have in Australia is One Source Customs, Bianca, and she's one of those people that is way smarter than I am.
Yeah.
So she understands the nitty gritty of like what needs to go into it, and of course we've looked at for the Trophy Ute, because the Trophy Ute's going to come over without a motor, without a gearbox, without a fuel tank. Like same.
Is that easier that way? Or is that just the state of the car?
Yes and no. No, it's definitely not. Like, we have some things we need to work on, but like I said, it'll run in spec class here.
Right.
So go back to the 525 horsepower, make use of our lightweights, that sort of thing. It doesn't have a bladdered fuel cell. Okay. So we're required to have a bladdered fuel cell over here. So like it's logical, but apparently it gets a lot harder taking it home when parts have been added. So there's lots of different hoops to jump through. So
we'll leave those parts back here, and then
I really hope not.
Yeah, leave those at the ranch just ready to go for
Sounds
next
like
time.
you need a second car. Is really what you need: an Australia spec car and a US spec car.
Definitely.
You
and
need
like,
two houses. You need two incomes.
There's no spec class in Australia either.
Okay.
So like, it's called Class 4 that we're in, and it's just like hangover from Baja bugs, which like Baja beetles, like Yes, because they were like a production bodied vehicle, so that's sort of where it all slotted into. So where we need to be in Australia, but if we had the budget, like we'd be getting into spec trucks or our own 4400 car that again, like hybrid, like start really diving into that. And but yeah, it all comes down to money.
Is there much rock crawling in Australia? I know like.
I'm the wrong person to ask, but like a lot of guys are super into it. Dave Kempston, who originally got me into all of this, he's a rock guy. Yeah. He's a rock donkey himself, and like they have trail rigs and or even just overlanders. But overland, they're super popular in Australia.
Yeah, everything I see is Land Cruisers and Defenders and stuff. They're going
the
out
24/7 4-wheel drive is the 100%.
Guys. And that's where I started too. Like I bought when I was in the army, Land Rover Tragic. So I bought another Defender in 2014, a short wheelbase, and I didn't have any idea about racing at the time, so I built it to flex. Like it did nothing but flex, and it was useless because if you don't have weight on the wheel, it doesn't drive anywhere. But I had like dislocation cones and stuff, so it looked impressive. But when you started getting into that gnarly crawling stuff, like left a little bit to be desired.
Yeah.
But no, there's definitely guys that the Ultra 4 scene's starting to get big over there too. But I think land and insurance is something that's really holding us back.
Yeah, same challenge here.
Yeah. How much are you tied into like the Ultra 4 world other than just racing a car?
So I mean, I've raced over international before, and that's super, super cool. I haven't gone to Australia yet for Ultra 4, but have talked with the guys over there a handful of times and would love to. Just, time and money, right?
and
Yeah.
money.
Do you see the sport growing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But everywhere.
Yeah.
It is growing internationally. It's really cool.
It's gone through a weird transition over the last 2 years of everything that's been going on. We don't have to get into that, but it's finally good to see that it feels like it's back on the upswing.
Yeah.
And it's growing again. You guys took away our East Coast races, but
They're coming back.
they're coming back. They're
this
coming
year?
back.
No, he's talking about last year.
Last year, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Last year we lost our PA race, and I was salty about that because I could have made that. But yeah, that's what I was saying. It's been a weird transition, but it
This year,
seems like
there's
it's coming
PA
back.
and Roush Creek, isn't there?
I think there's a West
Virginia.
Yeah, it's Roush Creek is PA. It's like 3 hours from the house, so come down and grab a beer.
Is Roush Creek PA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought there was a Reading race in Roush Creek. I always thought Roush Creek was Jersey.
No.
There's a
All
lot of people
mixed
from
up
Jersey
there.
that go there.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, no, like I said, it was a
There's
weird
no good
transition.
four-wheeling in New Jersey.
But it's good to see it's back on the upswing.
That's fair. Beaches you can cruise.
Yeah.
And
That's what you
about it.
did, yeah.
Well,
Sand.
I'll say it because it's semi-legal. There were fire.
Are we pausing the podcast here for a second?
There were fire
No.
access
The
roads.
CEO of SEMA said something wild the other day. They we left in, so
Is this coming out?
we're good.
We,
I don't know what the schedule is. I don't know when stuff's
Uh,
coming out.
there were fire access roads for Six Flags Great Adventure that like you could branch off of the fire roads into the woods, and it was like old cranberry bog, so it's a lot of mud and sand and stuff. That's where like I was four-wheeling, getting stuck and jumping my XJ and whatnot, and like
Yeah.
but I ended up going the car route as I got older because getting chased out of there constantly at night. And after I had some bald ass BFGs on that Jeep doing a hill climb, I had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 girls like piled in it. I
Hell yeah, brother.
I had a sub box with 2 12-inch, like just it was mid 2000s, so I was just blasting music, and like I just lost traction and I couldn't get it into 4 because I was still in 2, and I was trying to back down the hill to restart the hill climb, and I just sideswiped a tree and like took out the whole driver's side of the Jeep, and I had like having to go home and like tell my parents. I'm like, just took out the door. My dad's like, well, it's on you to fix. I'm like, all right, whatever. At the junkyard pulling a door, spray painting it white to match the Jeep. That was
Things were going great.
Yeah,
I was 17.
Fine.
I didn't care. But then I was like, I went to college, and like all my Jeep friends like were gone, and I had car friends, and I got into BMWs, and that got way expensive, and kind of the same circle of the late night car meets and speeding tickets, and I was like, I think I'm gonna get back into off-roading.
Yeah.
it's way easier on the pockets.
Yeah.
But that's like the fuck, where was I going with that?
I don't know. That was a good story,
That
though.
was a good story. God, it's been a long day and a half
No, you were
for us.
talking about crime and then off-road.
Don't do
That's
that.
what. That's what.
That's the episode. That's the name of the episode. Crime and off-road.
You got to go with Soggy Rock Donkey.
Yeah, it's definitely Soggy Rock.
Soggy rock donkey. But no, and sometimes the secret ingredient is crime to making things good.
Yeah, it goes back to the if you're not cheating,
That's
you're
what
not
a friend
racing,
told
right?
me anyway.
Yeah, rubbing's racing and cheating's racing, and crime is good.
Just t-shirt after t-shirt after
Oh,
t-shirt.
we have a long list.
We do have a really long list
I
of
don't know how
t-shirts.
familiar you guys are with like Shane Gillis, the making them at night with the grilled cheese
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
We did an episode. He's like, yeah, I just put some light pods on my lawnmower the other day. I was like, oh, why? So you mowing them at night? And now we're like, oh shit, we need a t-shirt.
It's a great t-shirt. It's
Supposed to be a
mowing 'em at night.
lawnmower
Mowing
with a
them at
light
night.
bar.
With a light
mowing
bars,
them
yeah.
at night. Yeah.
Brought to you by Diode Dynamics.
Yeah, we can only hope.
Yeah.
I guess that's I don't know if you guys have time, but oh yeah, we should. Sponsorship stuff, like, has that been hard to gather? Like, you've seen a shift in what people are paying you, what they want out of you?
So it's more expectations.
Yeah.
I mean,
That social media side, that
Yeah.
YouTube side.
I would say, 10, 15 years ago, which is a little bit before I started racing, but I was in the industry and saw it. The people that had those big sponsorships and that kind of stuff were because they won races.
Yeah.
And that's what they cared about. If
Yep.
you win on Saturday or win on Sunday, sell on Monday.
Yep.
And that has shifted to more of that influencer
Yeah.
and that kind of role today. Because now it's more of a full picture marketing that you have to do.
Are you getting the paid by click offers? Or are you like are they paying you on views, or is it you're just looking for parts mostly?
Not so much that. It's more, I mean, for us, it's about building the right team for what we're looking for.
Sure.
And something I'm very firm in, and Jack is very firm in, is we don't approach people that we don't believe in.
That's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
And it's a hard way to do it too, is because like the big corporate overlords at Real Pros and who like all those guys is like, I don't know if they're sponsors or not, but like it's hard because they're the ones with the money and they're the ones that you could reach out to.
They don't have any money left.
Well, they don't have any money left, but like
wrong podcast, but they don't have any money left either.
You're like, I want to work with the small guys that support the industry and actually love it, opposed to the guys that are just throwing money at it to get their name out there and
But if we do a testimony, we mean it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same way we are.
I'm wearing a Jag shirt, and that was a super awesome partnership that started last year.
Yeah, I love Jags.
And, that started off with, hey, we've never been to Hammers before. We're interested in coming out. Could we be on one of your cars, and let's just see what that looks like.
Well, it's cool, too, because they made a big push to transition from the muscle car stuff to now doing muscle car stuff and a bunch of off-road stuff.
It's wild. Like, if I'm like looking for parts, and like my normal suppliers don't have a part, I'll throw the part number in Google and Jegs comes up, Summit comes up. I'm like, and they're selling lift kits and like bolt-on Jeep parts now.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing. Like me and Jack, when we first, started talking about it and that kind of stuff, we were like, well, it's all the same parts. Yeah. Traditionally you think, oh, Jegs, that's, muscle cars, dragsters.
Small block Chevy crate motors.
But you know what's in 90% of Ultra 4 cars? An LS motor, or the Ford heads and all of that stuff is sold.
And they're just
Jegs.
such a and it makes it so easy when it's a bunch of good people that you work with too, like all the way through the rank structure, I guess. Like it's a fantastic dynamic.
Ever talked to Spider Tracks before?
We have not. We'll have to reach out to them.
Yeah.
Like I said, the hard thing that we do is we only do in-person stuff, and all of the industry is out west.
Yeah.
And we have yet to go out west. So it's all running to people at trade shows. Yeah, I know, for real. We just talked to Ian Johnson, and he's like, you got to come down to Tennessee. We got a ton of people for you to talk to down there. I'm like, yeah, I know. We got to go Tennessee, out west, down south. Like, we want to get Rock Crawler, because Rock Crawler is another brand that we love. They're awesome. But they're up north. So Spider Tracks is definitely on the list of cool people. I'm sure they got some good stories and some fun things to tell.
Yeah, Wayne from Alltech.
Yeah. But yeah, just people like that, like people that we already work with is who we try to
because you know and love the brands already.
Hey, we like you, you like us.
How
please help.
And
hey Jags, we like you, you like us.
Literally. And then like bringing in a third member as well, like someone else to the party, and like if we can all benefit from it, like.
And the cool thing about working at it that way is at that point you have a relationship with people. So, I mean, working with Tom, it's, hey, Tom, what is your goals for this next year? And how do we help make that a possibility?
Exactly.
And then, from then we go and figure out what that looks like afterwards.
Yeah, but I've always found having a relationship with someone, then asking them for a sponsorship or asking them to help you with something is much easier than cold calling. So, like I said, and love the brand. It's so much better. Because that side of sponsorship of like asking for money is like the most painful thing. Because I've got pride. I'd love to do this myself, and we actually do this ourselves because I have that. It's not good for me, but I have that hard block of asking people for money. I won't do it. I want you to believe in me because I believe in me, and if our views align, then we'll work something out.
Exactly.
When Amy and I first started out, we worked on a 300-to-1 rule. So for 300 team partner proposals that we put out, one would come back and say yes. And
it hurts at first.
Yeah, we learned that from the motorsport coach Enzo Mucci. Like, he does a whole bunch of really cool stuff on sponsorship, and that's where we learned a lot of what we know now a long time ago. And it's true, but it gets a lot easier as you start to become a player in the industry and learning that, and then branching out of industry too. So one of our biggest sponsors in Australia is Custom Lithium. So they just make lithium batteries, like incredible lithium batteries, I should say, for RVs, caravans, overlanders.
Like the deep cycle, like
prismatic cell lithium batteries. So you can run.
Yeah.
So they're like 3,000 watt. I probably said that wrong.
Long life.
Inverters.
Okay.
So then that way you can run whatever appliance you want.
That's like wild.
So people are going out and they have full fridges, ovens, air fryers, espresso machines.
So wild, dude.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
But we love the batteries.
But no.
Did Ian talk about his pizza oven?
No, we didn't get that side of overlanding yet.
We only briefly touched on pizza when Tony Angelo came up.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of fabrication stuff with Ian.
And then hammer stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's funny on the overlanding side of it. He was telling us a story. He just did Vegas to Reno with a group, and he was like the partner truck to these guys was Finland, I believe he said.
Yeah,
they stopped at their first pit, and like it was a scheduled long stop. They get out of the car,
take off fire suits.
He's like shoveling Uncrustables and water in his mouth, getting ready to get back in the car. And he said they rolled out a table with a tablecloth, like sat down and had coffee and like a full meal in the pit. And he's like, that's how I want to race. And I was like, I'm kind of with you on that one. Like,
sorry, Jack, that's not happening.
Well, no, I don't want it anyway. We were having an argument the other day, like, it was full-blown argument, shouting at each other, open trailer or closed trailer.
Were you guys in the stadium looking at it all?
Yeah. We gotta go to the conversation.
Him last night at the happy hour, we're like overlooking the trailers, and I'm like
crying a little bit.
I'm like, we're gonna roll up to an Ultra 4 race one day with my rusty Duramax, your wrinkled XJ on a wood decked trailer, and
my trailer's steel deck.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, we can use your trailer.
Yeah, we can use my trailer.
I mean, maybe not that bad, but and we are upgrading now. We're selling our beloved Land Cruiser, but our setup was literally a 100 series Land Cruiser.
Yeah,
a trailer that my dad and I built, which I mean, it is pretty
big. Yeah.
It's an awesome trailer with the race truck on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So like, and that was it. Like, it's nothing.
The best trailer is the trailer gets you to the race.
100%. And like, this one's purpose built. Like, we built it for that car. And with all the spares and everything, tire rack up front, like,
so you don't have the double decker, with toolboxes.
No,
and spare
100%.
Organized.
And I like the fact that we definitely have to go bigger. Like, our race team isn't getting any smaller. The races aren't getting any closer. We're not doing any less racing. So like, we understand we need to go to a small truck to tow that now.
Do the matching uniform shirts and everything, or
hold hands?
Yep, exactly that. And then like white shoes out at the desert.
Nice.
No, definitely not.
There's guys walking around here like that wearing their race uniforms. I'm like, oh my god, we are small fish.
Yeah,
and it definitely looks good, but at the same time, it's like, is that the brand that you want to produce, or do you want to be like
what the sponsors like?
Yeah, but at the same token, like, we can all wear different stuff and represent the different brands that, and become relatable, right?
Yeah.
Like, just
the boys hanging out, going wheeling for the weekend. It's just a race car instead of a shitty XJ.
Every time I hear like pit crew or pit stop, I just like, my brain goes to like full Talladega Nights, like Ricky
Wonder
Bobby, Wonder Bread across the windshield, like,
piece of excellence.
It was Fig Newtons across the
commercials.
windshield. Fig Newtons.
Fig Newtons, you know what I mean.
And when we go out to races, I mean, like, we have team shirts that the entire
Definitely.
crew wears the same stuff. We all have, our pits branded. And
Yeah,
we take
of course.
it professionally, but
definitely. But we want to
also
remain
have time.
approachable.
Fun time.
Yeah, it's still
we
the
want
boys.
to. But no, just being approachable as well. Like, there's times that I need to be left alone and we have things to do. But at the same time, I'd hate to hear that someone was too timid to come up and talk to us and have a chat. And,
it's cool.
Yeah, we're never going to shout someone. Well, sometimes shout people down, but.
Are you looking at me? Have I shot somebody?
No, definitely
down?
not. I was thinking about the poor dude that was changing the yellow brick on your car at the pit.
Oh yeah, that guy got yelled at. So we try really hard, but going into Hammers 2 years ago in the drivers meeting, they said if anybody touches your car while you're filling up on fuel, immediately disqualified. Put your car back in the pit. You're done.
Yeah.
Like, get off the lake bed.
Yeah.
And Yellow Brick is the tracking people at King of the Hammers, and I guess my Yellow Brick wasn't working,
And so before
he went in to fix it.
Before Bailey came into the main pit, I had just spoken to the crew, and I was like, "No one touch that fucking car! Like, I don't care what else you do, just don't touch the car until the boys have finished fueling. And all I saw, because like I'm out the front just controlling the pit, talking to Bailey on the radio, cones on the bonnet, everyone's hands off, and then there's just someone on the car.
Jumps on the hood
Jumps
and
on
starts
and starts to change that.
Oh, that's
And-
not like oh, let me just reach in through the
No,
window.
he was on the car, and I
my-
saw red. I just,
Oh yeah, that's
I saw
Justified.
red.
I
yeah.
have ear cubs and like, and I could hear him yelling, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, I was
Dad's pissed.
No, I was really pissed. And so this poor dude though, he's getting yelled at for things not working, and he comes over to fix it and gets yelled at by me as well.
At least it wasn't
he
your
was
crew.
not having it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, no, he got yelled at.
Which got sorted out later, but
Sure.
in the moment it was,
yeah.
get off my car.
yeah, ready
Drag
to throw
him off by his ankle.
ready to throw hands.
Yeah.
Wild.
But no, again, like making sure, back to the point that that we're approachable and like anyone can come up and talk to us.
And it's cool. It's humbling.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Like I mean, we're small time, but we've been approached a few times by different people and like around town, like just at the grocery store wearing Dirt Nerd stuff.
Yeah.
And someone's like, "Oh, you're the Dirt. I heard about you on the pod." I'm like, "Oh, that's like super cool. Thank you, man. Like that's awesome." It's super humbling. Like no matter where you're at, to have someone approach you.
Definitely.
and I know my
like-
favorite part of races, and I think you're up there too, is you see little kids walking around the pits,
100%.
and they're like, could we like take a picture by the car? And we're like, no, hop in the car.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember being, real small, and Shannon letting me hop in his car,
That's cool.
or
Yeah.
Jason letting me hop in, and like, that was my favorite memory. So being able to do that for the kids now, that's
both,
one of the coolest
We
things.
both come from a fire rescue background, and having the kids jump on the fire truck is the same thing. It's like,
Definitely.
can I touch it? No, you can sit in the driver's seat and honk the horn, which you would love to do too. Wouldn't you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There are adults.
When are we doing that?
Whenever you come
yeah.
out to Northern Virginia, I got a fire truck for you.
Especially with the fire truck stuff, or like firefighters in general, like you're never too busy to wave at kids.
Yeah.
Ever. And
Well,
like,
yeah,
that should be every
I
profession.
look at the same thing with race cars. You're never too busy to love the fans and love the sport.
exactly.
Because
100%.
without the fans,
It's
Definitely.
there's no sport.
Sometimes you are at a crunch time, but you're still never being arrogant. Like,
Correct.
like, hey man, like I'm slammed right now, but come back tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
making it work where you can.
Yep.
Well, cool, guys. I'm sure you guys got places to be, so we're going to let you go. We've been
Wrap it
hanging
up.
out for probably an hour and 45 minutes if you include outside.
Yeah.
But we got to do it again. We're going to try, probably, I'm having a kid here in a few months, so I 100% can't make it out to anywhere in 25. But at some point, I want to come out to the lake bed, come out west, come hang out. I'm inviting myself to your house.
Let me know.
If
Just bring the kid.
Yeah, exactly.
First desert trip.
I mean, I that's what I might have to do. Like, I have my kid is 1.5, so like February, like it was hard enough to take the week to come out here, and now I've got Jed bugging me to go to Hammers. We've had like 4 other people. Your girlfriend last night was like, "I'll pick you up at the airport." I'm like,
Yeah, you're
"What
like, come
part
on,
of I
honey,
can't
let's go."
Oh no, you're coming. It's happening.
You were trying to drag her away from us because she was inviting us to do everything.
I was making every excuse I could come up
We saw.
with.
Oh, we saw it.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta go. I'm hungry. Don't talk to these guys.
I made every. I was like,
I missed what was happening there. But
I told
you guys can come out whenever.
Hell yeah.
I was like, I don't want to go to Johnson Valley without my Jeep, and then I got to tow it, and that adds a whole week to the trip because it's 5 days to drive out there, a week on the lake bed, 5 days to drive home. And she's like, "No, just drive one of Dave's cars." And I'm like, "That's not how this works."
I don't see a ring 8. You're still a girlfriend. Sorry, honey.
Yeah.
Huh? No, it seems very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even your dad did it to us too when we met him. So it was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, but it's still not that easy. It's literally as far the other side of the country as it can be.
Yeah. But we do want to get
But we
out there at
can
some
do it.
point.
Yeah, no, it's going to happen. I mean, I definitely want to go. We've always talked about racing, like building his XJ and doing all that. And at some point, we'll do like I think we've always said, build it, do a couple East Coast races, get our feet wet, figure out if we're even capable of driving or if we should find other friends to drive. I think I'll be all right.
I think you'll be a good driver.
I've done enough fast stuff.
I think the thing that scared me in schoolie's cars is I didn't have a job to do. I was literally just a passenger hanging on for my life. I think if so at Famous Reading, he's like, we're doing qualifying laps. I was wearing my Crocs, editing the an episode I just worked on, like literally in gym shorts. He's like, put on Cameron's helmet, didn't fit me. We're doing qualifying lap. I'm like, all right, let's go. And I didn't have a job, and I was sitting there in a pair of Crocs and gym shorts in the passenger seat of a 4800 car, and it scared the shit out of me.
And Schoolie's fast too.
Yeah, Schoolie's fast.
He doesn't mess around.
No. So it scared the absolute shit out of me, and I'm like, I'm never doing that again. But I think given a job, I'd love it. Like if I was to overcrest, right, left, turn.
I'm not going to let us go past this. How good are Crocs?
They're wonderful,
right?
They're wonderful.
What do you reckon, Bailey?
So
they have their place. So I got sweet off-road Crocs that have like big knobbies and like a nice strap.
I have Haunted Mansion Crocs. My Crocs are pink and purple.
And you got all the giblets.
I got all the giblets. Me and my wife went to Disney World this time last year, and I was stubborn. I just bought a pair of shoes. They were broken, and I loved them. After 4 days in the park, my dogs were screaming. So I'm like, that's when the Cars Lightning McQueen Crocs were popular, and I'm like, they will have these in Disney World. They will have these. They didn't have them.
Oh man, I would have been gutted.
So I was. So the Haunted Mansion is my favorite Disney movie. So I bought the pink and purple Haunted Mansion ones. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Once all the official pit duties are done, especially at Hammers, it's time for pit Crocs.
Hell yeah.
Like,
I just feel like that's just going to lead to a lot of sand in toes.
Embrace it.
There's sand everywhere. You can't.
You can't. It's like exfoliation.
This is where me and Jack disagree.
That's the Australian in you.
I'll wear flip-flops. Safety sandals are great.
Yeah,
but something about the
flip-flops.
But it's something about
Flip-flops
it being kind of enclosed but not enclosed.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Would you rock the Croc flops? So he got a pair of flip-flops that were Croc branded.
They are comfortable.
Get him as a sponsor.
Oh, that'd be sweet. The Crocs
I've already done this
Bronco.
sweet shameless
The Bronco. You can call it the Bronco.
Fiberglass body and stuff.
Yeah.
Now
The Bronco does already have a nickname though.
Is it
Tigger.
Bronco?
It's
is it?
Tigger.
Okay.
Just because it always kind of
Bounces.
bounces through the desert and always kind of keeps it level.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now you got to paint it orange. Work with Jegs on changing the colors.
I reckon the colors are pretty set at this point.
What, you mean Jegs isn't going to change the colors for you guys?
Yeah,
what do you mean?
We might be able to get away with a hot pink with them, but I think
go.
that's
That'd be
about
sweet.
it. Yeah,
That'd be cool.
There does seem to be
In conjunction with the breast cancer stuff. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there
they
does
push
seem to
hard
be
on that every year.
pretty big trend in like pink and neon colors coming into cars.
We were talking to a hot rod guy last night that was
yeah.
trying to convince a customer not to go yellow and to go pink with his car.
to paint his Plymouth Cuda pink, and I'm like, I don't know. Kind of with your customer on the lime green. That's kind of a classic color for a Cuda.
Yeah, isn't that what they're known for?
Yeah, whatever. Like, I'm not a hot rod guy, so you guys do whatever.
Yeah.
But like it's a race car. Like it should be vibrant, eye catching.
Yeah.
Like getting people to talk about it. Yeah,
You want the camera pointed at
100%.
it, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah. We have a rear plate because we have our radiator lays flat and all the coolers lay flat on the trophy ute, like behind where you sit, instead of like conventionally upright.
Yep.
Because of that, we have a plate that runs down to force air down, so it comes through the windscreen, down through the radiators.
Yep.
That plate we run for a long time when we were living in the Northern Territory as the NT flag. So it's absolute camera magnet. So like every
especially an overhead shot.
the B-roll shots as well, like cameramen just flock to it.
That's cool.
Straight. Now we use our like team logo, like we've got that on there, same sort of thing. Everyone seems to love it. But yeah, it's just doing those little things to make sure that like, look at me.
Yeah.
Details matter.
Well, where can people find you online? And
all the social media, Bailey Cole Racing for me, and MORMotorsports.
Yep.
yeah,
for Jack
I found you last night.
Yep. I saw that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I gotta follow you back now.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, a little bit of TikTok, but that's not
TikTok
our
is
biggest.
TikTok. I hate the short form stuff.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
It has its place. Like
Has its place.
It does. It's very popular with the young kids, but
Definitely.
like as a not to sound pretentious, but as like a creator, like I hate it. I hate it so much. The long form stuff is so much more fun.
Yeah.
It's so much more engaging.
It's
We've
more
done
a bigger
big,
story.
We've done some really cool things though with short form. The one that comes to mind is like Yokohama took us in. We did the Nora 500, sorry, and they made us eat spicy tacos while we answered questions. So
it's kind of like the
See, that's my kind of content.
yeah, right. Like it's really good. I understand it's not long form, but like it's super engaging. Like something different, like and enjoyable to film and shoot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
go follow them.
Just go find
Check
some
them
tacos.
out. We should definitely go find some. Do I have tacos? Do they have tacos in Indianapolis?
Everywhere has tacos.
I don't know, man.
Or
They have
come to SoCal and have
California
tacos.
tacos.
Come on,
Yeah. I want to go to Baja and have tacos.
Yeah.
Every
Sounds
time,
good.
besides the
can
racing,
do that.
everything you hear about Baja is the tacos.
The street food.
It's Baja was
100%.
awesome. The tacos were better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cool, guys. Go give them a follow. You guys know where to find us. Everywhere social at the Dirt Drive, DirtNerds Motors. I don't know when this comes out, but either last Friday or this Friday is going to be a YouTube video. You're tired of me saying that. We're trying to push our content. We've just
You're
started.
holding me to this every other week, and that's a lot of editing.
I know, but we got to do it.
I know.
We just started a small YouTube channel, so
Yeah.
We're trying to restore CJ5, and it's kind of gone downhill.
yeah, it's not the best.
It went from a little bit of spray paint, some wiring, to I got to pick the motor up at the machine shop on Monday.
Whoa, no, the project car being way more work than what it was originally.
We're gonna
lose
lose
You
the
You sound like my wife.
Yeah,
Oh no, I was being facetious there. I don't think anyone's project car has been like, oh yeah, no, I just did a motor swap and then left it alone. Like
My wife reminds me all the time because I bought the project and it was like, no, this is gonna be a quick flip. And she's like, so 6 months, and I was like, no, like 2, and we're 2 months into it, and it's literally like there's not a bolt in it.
yeah.
So
one
You
day
meant 2 years, right?
don't put that juju on me.
Jack stand champion.
Jack Stand champion.
I got a couple of those.
That's another
too.
T-shirt. Jack Stanch. All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys next week.